If you hear instantly a chattering noise in your head when looking at this tool, you probably know what it is. This is a parting or grooving tool for the lathe. Not jazzy funky grooving, but for cutting grooves into a part. Due to the very little supporting material and the relatively aggressive cut, these tools tend to horrible chattering, especially on small lathes like mine. But that's not the topic of this video. Normal parting tools are designed to only cut in radial direction. But however, you sometimes have to make a part which needs a groove cut in its front face. You can't do this operation with a straight bladed parting tool, as the material supporting the cutting insert will collide with the workpiece when turning. Instead, you need a tool which is shaped like a banana. And that's what we make now. I hate to say, but before we start, I want to remind you to gently squeeze the subscribe button. I'm constantly running out of material, so that silver YouTube button you get when reaching 100,000 subscribers would come in very handy. So that's definitely a steep way to climb, but thanks for helping me along. I'm starting with a piece of ground flat tool steel and bringing it roughly into shape with a bandsaw and the milling machine. So that's a rough shaped tool blank. And now comes the fun part. I designed the tool blade to have an inside radius of 12.5 and an outside radius of 12 mm. With this, the curved blade gets thinner towards its top and bottom, providing some clearance angles. I'm using the lathe to bring the tool blade into its final shape. For measuring the correct diameter for the internal radius, I put a 20 mm ground steel bar into the lathe chuck and zeroed the dial indicator in the lathe tool post. With the dial indicator set to 0, I now can lock the cross slide of the lathe, so I don't accidentally move it out of position. Now when I put the boring bar into the chuck, I can exactly measure the position of its cutting tip in relation to the 20mm steel bar from before. As the steel bar had a radius of 10mm, I just have to set the tool to plus 2.5mm for the right cutting radius. Before I can start cutting, I'm checking the tool blank for alignment and zeroing the bed slide dial. When you have to cut to a specific dimension in multiple passes, it's really handy to have an adjustable carriage stop, which I'm installing here. If you are interested, there's a build video on my channel. Now I have to find the exact position for turning the outside diameter. For this, I'm positioning a 10mm round steel bar exactly in the rotational center of the lathe spindle. Now I can offset the cross slide so that the steel pin is exactly marking the right position for turning the outside diameter. For this operation, I had to improvise a little tool holder from a piece of flat steel. It will hold the turning tool in place when working on the outside diameter. I can now bring the cutting tip of the tool into exact position by adjusting it until it scratches the steel pin. The cutting inserts I'm going to use have a small groove on its top and bottom side. So the insert seat on the cutting tool has to have a small ridge in the middle to prevent the insert from falling out sideways. It's delicate enough to get it on dimensions on a straight bladed tool, but it's even more difficult to get it right on a curved one. So the first side looks quite good. I somehow managed to get a quite decent fit on the insert, mostly milling by eye and feeling, less than exact measurements. For machining the angle on the upper insert clamping part, I'm setting the machine vise to 45 degrees. It's really not necessary to be that accurate here, but why not? I like to start tapping on the drill press for perfect alignment before finishing the thread by hand, which is a lot faster. So all of the machine work is done. The tool now only needs some final finishing touches before being ready for the first test cuts. And that's the finished tool. To complete it, you just need one screw and a cutting insert. For the first test cut of the tool, I'm using a piece of round plastic. I'm really not sure what the tool can handle, so I want to start soft. So in plastic, the tool seems to work quite well. So let's try it in some aluminum. So far so good. But when the tool is in full contact, it shatters horribly. You can eliminate that by turning the tool upside down, which in my case worked very well. I did a few more testing off camera and all worked fine until it doesn't. The tool got grabbed somehow and completely bent out of shape. So this is extremely frustrating after putting so much effort into this build, but sometimes that's how it's going in life. I'm thinking about bending the blade back into shape and sending the tool out for professional heat treatment, so I hopefully can somehow save the tool. Bad ending on this, but we keep on doing it better. Thanks for watching.